They say you don't really see something until you stop trusting it. Funny how true that turned out to be. For 10 years, I believed I had what most people only dreamed of: a solid marriage, a comfortable home, and a wife who still smiled at me like she meant it. Amanda and I weren't flashy. We had our routines, our running jokes, our favorite takeout spots. Comfortable. Easy. At least, it used to be. Then came the running. Amanda picked it up about a year ago. Said it helped her clear her head after work. I supported it, even encouraged her. Bought her a new smartwatch for her birthday, the kind that tracks everything: distance, heart rate, GPS. She loved it. Wore it every day like a badge of discipline. Every Thursday evening like clockwork, she'd lace up her sneakers and head out around 6. "Gotta hit my pace," she'd say, brushing a kiss on my cheek. "Wish me luck." And I did. Every time. Until I didn't. At first, it was just a feeling. Nothing you could prove in court. Little things, like how she never seemed winded when she came back, how her laundry never had that post-run funk, or how, sometimes, her running clothes looked like they'd been carefully folded, not worn. Then came the night she left her watch charging on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping. Not at first. I was checking the weather and tapped the screen by habit. Her last run showed up. The start point was our house, as expected. The end point wasn't. It was a high-rise condo on the edge of downtown. I stared at the map for a long time. My first thought? GPS glitch. It happens. But the next week, it showed the same thing. And again the next Thursday. Same start. Same destination. So I synced her watch to my phone. Quietly. She never noticed. Now every Thursday, while she kissed me goodbye and jogged off in those bright running shoes, I watch her route trace itself on my phone like a digital confession. Straight from our driveway to that condo building. Never varied. Not once. I even drove by it one night. Just to see. No gym. No storefront. Just a sleek lobby, valet parking, and windows that reflected the skyline. I sat in my truck for a good 10 minutes, engine running, wondering what it meant. I didn't go inside. Didn't want to be that guy. Not yet. Instead, I went home, poured myself a drink, and waited for Amanda to return. When she did, she breezed and like always kissed me, told me she crushed her pace. "Best run yet," she said, smiling. I nodded. Said something like, "Proud of you." But inside, something had shifted. Not anger. Not even sadness. Just that cold realization, the kind that doesn't knock loud, but quietly turns off the lights. Whatever she was doing, wherever she was going, it wasn't a marathon. And I was done pretending it was. I've always believed that when something doesn't add up, you don't ignore it. You collect the numbers until the math makes sense. And lately, Amanda's numbers weren't making sense. The Thursday night runs to the luxury condo had become routine. Too routine. A true marathon runner would change it up, try hills, long distances, rest days. But Amanda? Same time, same place, every Thursday. Always back home around 9. Looking refreshed, not tired. Lip gloss perfect. Not a single sore muscle or blister to complain about. I started noticing more than just the routes. Her gym bag, for instance, always zipped tight, always tucked neatly into the hall closet. I unzipped it one evening when she was in the shower. Just once. Inside, a clean towel, unopened water bottle, and her running shoes that looked like they'd spent more time in air conditioning than on pavement. Then came the laundry. I picked it up one weekend. We take turns and noticed something strange. The sports bra she claimed to have worn Thursday night wasn't even damp. Her socks were folded, not flipped from wear. Either she was sweating perfume these days, or she was changing into something else. That same day, I checked her smartwatch history again. 10 weeks in a row, every Thursday, same condo. I didn't tell anyone. Not my brother, not my coworker Darren, who's been through this kind of thing. I needed more than theories. I needed the truth, in full color. So I started paying closer attention to her phone habits. She never left it unattended anymore. Never face up on the table. When a text came through during dinner, she'd glance down, smile subtly, and type back with her screen angled away. One night I joked, "What's so secret in those texts?" She laughed, but her eyes darted. "Just joy from the office. She's got no boundaries." I smiled. Let it go. But it wasn't joy. That same evening, when she stepped out for a late-night shower, I picked up her phone. Locked. I'd never needed her password before. And now, it felt like a wall between us. That was enough confirmation for me. Next, I went digging on social media. Not hers, she barely posted anymore, but Daniel's. Yeah, that Daniel. Her old college flame. The one who moved back to town last year after his divorce. They'd met for coffee once. She mentioned it like it was nothing. Just catching up, she'd said. Daniel had a friend, Ryan, the type of guy who posted everything. Pictures from every brunch, party, and weekend gathering. In one of them, not even center frame, there she was, Amanda, wearing the same black hoodie she ran in 2 Thursdays ago, sitting on a condo balcony next to Daniel, a wine glass in her hand. I stared at the photo for a long time. Then I saved it. That weekend, Amanda surprised me by suggesting we go out for dinner. We haven't had a date night in a while, she said. We hadn't. That part was true. We sat at our favorite little Italian place, ordered our usual. She talked about her work, about a new campaign she was managing. I watched her hands move as she spoke, animated, polished, like she was performing a version of herself she thought I still believed in. I didn't say much, just listened. Somewhere between the salad and the main course, she reached across the table. You've been quiet lately. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. Just tired. Long week. But inside, I was rehearsing a different kind of conversation. Not tonight, I told myself. Not yet. Let her keep talking. Let the clues keep speaking. Because soon, I was going to speak back, and when I did, I'd make sure she heard every word. There's a certain kind of clarity that comes when the truth starts settling into your bones. It doesn't hit you all at once like in the movies, no dramatic gasp, no shattered glass. It's quieter. Like watching the sun set on a day you didn't realize was already over. That's how it felt with Amanda. I didn't hate her. Not yet. I just didn't recognize her anymore. The Amanda I married cried when she accidentally killed a spider in the bathroom. The one I was watching now lied with a straight face and smiled afterward like she deserved a medal for the performance. And I knew I had to act. Not lash out. Not scream. Just prepare. So I reached out to someone I never thought I'd need, an old friend named Craig, now a private investigator. He'd done security work back when we were younger, but these days he made a living helping people find the truth, mostly cheating spouses, runaways, and bad business partners. He owed me a favor. I cashed it in. I don't want drama, I told him. I want the facts. Just the facts. He nodded. We'll keep it quiet. No confrontations. You'll have what you need in a week. In the meantime, I started pulling back. Emotionally, physically. Amanda noticed. She tried harder, texting me more, making my favorite meals, planning date nights. But I could tell it was routine, like she was checking boxes on a list she barely remembered writing. One night, after another Thursday run, she came home flushed and happy. Not from exertion, from attention. I could see it in the way she walked through the door. The kind of glow I used to think was for me. I crushed it today, she said, tossing her gym bag down. I looked up from my book and nodded. Proud of you. She kissed me on the forehead like I was a roommate. Then she went to shower, and I stared at the door she closed behind her. 10 years of marriage, and that simple gesture told me more than any argument ever could. That weekend, Craig sent me the first update. A time-stamped photo. Amanda entering the same condo she always ran to. But this time, no gym bag. No earbuds. Just her, in casual clothes and a grin. He included a note. She stayed for just over 3 hours. Came out wearing different earrings than she went in with. I stared at that line for a long time. Different earrings. She used to lose jewelry all the time when we first dated. I buy replacements, thinking it was sweet. Now I realized, maybe she just never kept anything she wore around someone else. A few days later, Craig sent another photo. Same condo. Different day. Amanda wasn't in gym clothes at all. She wore the cocktail dress she'd told me was too small now. Funny how it fit perfectly when she thought I wouldn't see it. And standing next to her in the doorway? Daniel. Same guy from the college reunion stories. The just a coffee, nothing weird guy. His arm was around her waist like it had always belonged there. Craig didn't include commentary. He didn't need to. I stared at the photos for a long time. I wasn't even angry. I was detached, observing, processing. This wasn't just some one-time mistake. It was a routine, a separate life, a version of her she kept in a locked drawer and forgot I still had the key. I saved the photos to a folder called Next Steps. And for the first time since this started, I slept through the night. Because I knew how this would end. And I was finally ready to end it my way. There's a kind of power in silence. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of intention. I'd never been the shouting type. I didn't throw dishes or raise my voice. I was raised on the idea that real strength doesn't need to roar. It just needs to show up, look someone in the eye, and say, I know. And now I did. I had everything. Craig had delivered a full folder of time-stamped photos, location logs, and enough evidence to prove, beyond doubt, that Amanda had built an entire side life right under my roof. And still, I said nothing. I kept kissing her goodnight, asking how her runs went. I even offered to buy her new shoes when she said her soles were wearing down. Why? Because I wanted the reveal to be clean. No yelling. No begging. Just truth, dropped on the table like a sealed envelope, heavy with everything she thought she'd hidden. And also, because part of me wanted to see if she'd stop. If she'd come to me, guilt-ridden, and say, I've made a mistake. She didn't. Instead, she upped the affection, called me from work, sent little texts, made a playlist titled For Us, and shared it with me like we were still in high school. It was bizarre. Like she could sense something slipping through her fingers, but couldn't figure out what. I wasn't giving her the cold shoulder, not completely. But she knew I'd gone quiet in a way that didn't feel like fatigue. It felt like distance. And I was fine letting her feel that, because the plan was almost in place. I'd already spoken with a lawyer, someone discreet, but sharp. We went over assets, the house, the shared accounts. No kids to complicate things, thank God. The lawyer said, if you've got proof of the affair, we can file on grounds of adultery, cleaner than no fault, and you'll walk away better than even. I said, I'm not looking to destroy her. Just end it on my terms. He nodded. Then keep doing what you're doing. Stay calm. Stay smart. So I did. The next time Amanda left for her Thursday run, I helped zip her jacket. She kissed me like usual. I watched her walk to the car with the same stride I used to admire at our wedding. Confident, head held high. Only now, I knew it wasn't confidence in our love. It was comfort in her lie. I waited 30 minutes, then checked the synced GPS condo. Again, I went to my desk drawer and opened a fresh envelope. Slipped in 3 photos, a printed screenshot of her route, and a sticky note that read simply, I know, Marcus. I sealed it, laid it on her pillow, and went out for a walk. Not far, just around the block, just enough to feel the wind. By the time I got back, she still wasn't home. And I had no idea what kind of Amanda would walk through that door when she saw the truth waiting for her. But I knew one thing. I was done running. I came back from my walk just after 9. Streetlights flickered. The neighborhood was quiet, the kind of quiet you notice only when your life's about to shift. I stepped inside, kicked off my shoes, and didn't bother turning on the lights. I just sat in the living room, hands folded, and waited. Amanda's car pulled into the driveway 15 minutes later. I heard her humming something as she unlocked the front door. She always did that, hum after a run. I used to think it was endearing. Now it just made my stomach tighten. Hey babe, she called out. You still up? I'm here, I said, voice even. She came in, cheeks glowing. Sorry I'm late. Lost track of time. She leaned over to kiss me. I didn't move. Her smile wavered for half a second. You okay? I left something for you upstairs, I said. On your pillow. She hesitated, just for a breath. Then smiled again, smaller this time. Ooh, mysterious. Should I be excited or nervous? I didn't answer. Amanda walked past me, her footsteps unusually light. I heard the bedroom door open. Then silence. 30 seconds. 60. Then, footsteps again. Slower this time. She came down the stairs holding the envelope, already opened. Her face had changed, not panicked. Not yet. But the smile was gone, replaced with something I hadn't seen in her in a long time. Fear. Marcus, she said, holding the photos like they might catch fire. I can explain. You don't need to, I said calmly. I know where you've been. I know who you've been with. And I know it's been going on for months. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I stood, meeting her gaze without flinching. You wore the watch I gave you. That's how I found out. Every Thursday night, same address. And then I found the pictures. Of you. With Daniel. Tears welled up in her eyes, but I felt nothing. No anger. Just distance. Marcus, it wasn't like that. It was exactly like that, I said, cutting her off. You built another life behind my back. And you got comfortable enough to think I'd never notice. She started to cry, reaching for me. Please, let's talk about this. I took a step back. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to tell you it's over. Her voice cracked. You're divorcing me? I nodded. Papers are being drawn up. And just so you're aware, your little secret? It's not so secret anymore. She looked confused, and I leaned in just enough to drop the final blow. Daniel's ex-wife is my attorney. Her knees nearly buckled. She sank onto the couch, staring at the photos in her lap like they might spell out a different reality if she blinked long enough. I looked at her, the woman I once loved so deeply, and realized I didn't recognize her anymore. 10 years. And now? Just two strangers in a house full of memories. I'll stay with my brother for a few days, I said. You'll hear from my lawyer by the end of the week. Marcus, please. But I was already at the door. Before I left, I turned to say one last thing, something soft. Final. I didn't want this. But you made the choice for both of us. And then I left. No slamming doors. No shouting. Just a man finally walking away, not in anger, but in peace. There's a strange silence that follows after you finally walk away. It's not peaceful. Not yet. It's more like the ringing in your ears after a long, drawn-out noise, the kind that makes everything else feel a little muted. That's what the first night felt like. I didn't sleep. I stayed at my brother Nate's house, just a guest room with mismatched sheets and a lamp that flickered every now and then, like it wasn't sure whether to be on or off. Fitting, really. You good? He asked once, sticking his head in around midnight. I nodded. Yeah. He didn't press. That's one of the reasons I came here. The next morning, I checked my phone. No texts from Amanda. No missed calls. Just the usual junk mail and a reminder about a dentist appointment I didn't care about anymore. I half expected her to blow up my phone. Cry, beg, rage, something. But nothing. Turns out, guilt is quieter than denial. At least at first. Around noon, I got the first message. Amanda, can we talk? Please. Just once. I didn't reply. That afternoon, my lawyer called. We'll send the official filing by Friday, he said. Want me to have her served? Or do you want to hand it to her yourself? I didn't hesitate. Serve her. He paused, maybe expecting me to take the high road. But I was done building bridges for someone who lit them from both ends. She won't fight it. I added. Not after what she's seen. Good, he said. With the proof you have, we're in a strong position. She doesn't get spousal support. You keep the house. Clean break. I thanked him and hung up. Later that evening, I got another message. Amanda, I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. Please, Marcus. Let me explain. Funny thing about mistakes, they lose weight when they're only called that after you get caught. That night, I poured myself a glass of whiskey. Sat on Nate's porch while he played video games in the living room. I watched the streetlights blink on, one by one. I felt more alone than I had in years, but also more honest than I'd been in a long time. Because here's the thing no one talks about. When someone cheats on you, they don't just break your heart. They break the version of yourself you built around the belief that you were loved, that you were enough. And in the quiet afterward, you have to rebuild that version, piece by piece, without them. Amanda didn't just lose me. She lost the version of me that still believed in her. And that man wasn't coming back. The knock came on a Tuesday evening. Nate was out running errands, and I was half asleep on the couch, the kind of nap that happens when your body's tired but your mind just keeps jogging laps. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, I saw her. Amanda. She looked smaller than usual. Not physically, just deflated. Her eyes were red. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Can I talk to you? She asked. I didn't say yes. Didn't say no. I just stepped aside. She walked in like a stranger in her own house. Or maybe she finally realized it wasn't hers anymore. We sat across from each other. The silence between us was no longer tense. It was just final. I didn't come to beg, she started. I know I have no right to ask you for anything. I needed to say something. Face to face. I didn't speak. Just nodded once, letting her continue. I don't know when I started slipping away from you, she said. I think it happened slowly. Like erosion. One missed conversation. One, I'm tired, let's talk tomorrow. One moment where I didn't feel seen, and I didn't tell you. I tilted my head. So you turned to someone else. She swallowed. Yeah. I didn't stop seeing you, Amanda, I said. I just trusted that we were solid enough that I didn't have to chase you down every time life got loud. She wiped her eyes. I know you didn't deserve it. He was just easy. No history. No expectations. Just attention. And I told myself it wasn't serious, that I still loved you. I just needed space. I looked at her, really looked. She was still the woman I married, but only in the way an old photograph still looks like a memory. Familiar, but no longer real. You had all the space you wanted, I said. You just didn't tell me I wasn't standing in it anymore. She nodded slowly. I guess I wanted both worlds. The comfort of you and the thrill of someone else. That's not love, I said quietly. That's selfish. She didn't argue. There was nothing left to defend. I don't expect forgiveness, she said after a pause. I just wanted you to hear it from me. Not from photos. Not from a lawyer. Just from me. I stood up and walked to the door. I appreciate that, I said. But I'm not the same man I was when you left last Thursday. And you're not the same woman I thought I knew. She got up slowly. I miss you, she said. I miss who I thought you were, I replied. But I'll be okay. And eventually, so will you. She walked to the door, but before stepping out, she turned back. You really loved me, didn't you? Yeah, I said. I really did. Then I closed the door. Not with anger. Not with bitterness. With closure. You don't notice how heavy something's been until you finally set it down. The first morning after Amanda came by, I woke up feeling, still, not happy, not sad, just clear. Like my mind had finally stopped swimming upstream. I didn't realize how long I'd been living in the tension, like I was waiting for a punch that had already landed. Nate made coffee and left it on the counter without a word. That's just who he is. He doesn't ask how you're doing. He makes sure there's cream in the fridge and lets you sit in the silence until you're ready to speak. That morning, I finally did. I think I'm ready to go back home. He nodded, not surprised. You need help moving your stuff back? I smiled. No, just me. I drove back that afternoon, back to the house Amanda and I once built as a team. The house where we hung string lights in the backyard and argued about which way the dishwasher should be loaded. I expected it to feel haunted, but it didn't. It felt like a place waiting to be repurposed. She wasn't there, of course. She'd moved out quietly over the weekend. Left her keys, a note that just said, I'm sorry. Truly, I didn't read it twice. Instead, I opened the windows. Let the air move through. I made a list of small repairs I'd been putting off for months, little things that suddenly felt like signs of life. Leaky faucet. Scuffed hallway paint. A curtain rod that had always leaned slightly left. I didn't think about her much that week. Not because I didn't care, but because, for the first time in a long time, I didn't need her feelings to validate mine. That Friday, my lawyer called. She's not contesting anything, he said. She signed the divorce papers. You'll be finalized in 30 days. I thanked him. Then I sat in the backyard with a drink and watched the sun slip behind the trees. I thought about how endings always feel bigger than they are. But sometimes, they're just the start of something smaller, quieter, more real. Friends started checking in. A few had heard through the grapevine. Man, I'm sorry, they'd say. But I wasn't. Not anymore. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Starting over doesn't always look like fireworks or big speeches. Sometimes, it looks like eating dinner alone without feeling lonely. Fixing a broken cabinet without anyone watching. Sleeping in the middle of the bed just because you can. I'd lost someone I thought I knew. But I'd found someone I'd forgotten. Myself. It's funny how peace doesn't mean the past disappears. It just means you stop letting it control the room. A few weeks had passed since Amanda signed the papers. The house was mine again. I'd even started putting up a new bookshelf in the den. One of those things I always said I'd get around to someday, back when someday never seemed urgent. Life had settled into something almost comfortable. Still quiet, still unfamiliar, but not painful anymore. Then she called. The name lit up on my phone just after dinner. I hadn't deleted her number. Still hadn't decided if I was going to. I let it ring twice. 3 times. Then answered. Hello. A pause. Then her voice soft, like she wasn't sure she deserved to speak at all. Hey. It's me. I know, I said. Not cold. Not warm. Just flat. I wasn't sure you'd pick up. You caught me on a calm night, I replied. She let out a breath. I heard from your brother that you're doing okay. That the house looks different. It feels different, I said. Because it is. Another pause. I'm glad. There it was, a sentence that tried to wear sincerity, but couldn't hide the sadness stitched into the seams. I didn't call the mess with anything, she said quickly. I wanted to say something. One more thing. I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. I've started therapy, she said. Not because I thought it would fix what happened, but because I realized I never figured out why I let it happen. I sat down at the edge of the couch. Good. You should. She took it in without defensiveness. I think I got used to feeling adored, but not seen. And Daniel gave me attention without history. That made it feel safe. But it was just empty. Yeah, I said quietly. It usually is. And I know it's not your job to forgive me. I know you've moved on. I just needed you to know. I'm trying. Not to win you back. Just to be better than I was. There was a time that might have hit me like a truck. Now? Now it felt like a gentle knock on a door I'd already locked and walked away from. I appreciate the call, I said. I really do. But Amanda, whatever you're working through now, that's yours. I carried your weight for a long time. I'm not going to carry your healing too. She didn't cry. Didn't beg. Fair, she said. Goodbye, Marcus. Goodbye. And that was it. I ended the call and stared at the bookshelf half-built beside me. There was still work to do. But I was the one doing it now, on my terms, with my hands. No more rebuilding for someone else's comfort. Just building what I needed to stand tall again. It's strange how life keeps moving, even after years feels like it stopped. People still walk their dogs. The mail still gets delivered. The neighbor still forgets to roll in his trash bins. And one day, you realize you're moving again too. It's not fast. It's not flashy. But it's forward. I finished the bookshelf the following week. Not because I needed it. I already had more space than books, but because finishing something felt good. A small reminder that I was still capable. Still here. That's how healing happens, I've learned. Not in the big moments, but in the small ones. Like making your coffee just the way you like it. Like walking into a quiet house and not feeling the urge to fill the silence. Like seeing her name flash across your memory and feeling nothing. Not hate. Not longing. Just peace. People ask me if I'll ever trust again. If I'll love again. And I tell them this. I never stopped trusting people. I just stopped ignoring myself. And love? Love's not off the table. But next time, I won't give it to someone who treats it like a paper napkin, used when convenient, discarded when messy. I've learned that I'm worth more than quiet tolerance and blind loyalty. I'm the man who stayed faithful, who listened, who tried. I'm the man who didn't lose his soul when someone else lost her way. And now? I'm the man who doesn't need closure from someone else to feel whole. Amanda was a chapter, one with some good pages and a hard ending. But the book isn't over. Not by a long shot. The man I found again, the one I buried under compromise, under silence, under the weight of what ifs, he's back. He's bruised, sure. But he's standing tall. And this time, he's writing the story himself.